Sup. My name is Ray for the YugiohCouncil. Yes, I still have laryngitis. It's a little bit better. So anyway, this is coffee time. If this video is unbearable for you, there's the freaking door. So basically today we are talking about the one thing that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, which is, do pro players actually exist in Yu-Gi-Oh? Can we actually define them as pro players? So if that's a touchy subject for you, I'm so sorry. I really am. So my voice is still hoarse, and I'm still with my buddy Mully here. So hopefully he won't bark, and we'll get through this video in the next couple of minutes. So, what is a pro player? Let's start with that. Basically, someone who can professionally make money from this game to support themselves, pay their bills, and live their life. And thanks to places like ARG, this is getting to be more and more possible, and also thanks to here on YouTube. So I'm just going to quickly jump over to the MLG, so this way I can go over a few things from basically what I know about the MLG from, well, being part of it for a little while. So, let's see if this... Alright, so the MLG is basically a company that was founded in 2002 at the launch of Halo 2, which was basically the granddaddy of online video games when it comes to basically going to a friend's house and beat the shit out of each other over a video game. So it blew up to the point that it is now 10 years later, 13 years later, and it's become Esports, which is a completely different ball game than your normal sports. You don't have to be a super athlete to actually be good in it. So basically, I guess our version would be C Sports, trading card game, or TCG Sports. Basically, the knowledge behind a card game to go and do it professionally. I think it's fair enough that we have the same, possibility of that. So a lot of you will say it's kind of stupid to take something and try to make it into a professional medium. I can respect it, but when you look at something like Magic the Gathering, which is also a card game, has a huge following and professional level where people can make money off it to support themselves for a lifetime at this rate, then, it's in the same way of looking at Yu-Gi-Oh! If you play the meta decks, then you're going to have that top tier kind of stuff, and you could be considered a meta player, but the next stage would be professional. So we have a few professionals, obviously, in this game, like Patrick Hoban and I can't, something Frazier. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name. I'm terrible. I'm on too many medicines. But thanks to places like ARG, like I said, they are further in the game in a way that we can never shape it. Well, Konami can never shape it. And that we, as, I guess, a casual base, cannot actually shape it ourselves. But, hey, what are you going to do? So, real quick, for those of you who think my voice is completely gone, it's not. It's coming back. Just had to get that in there. So what I'm saying is, ARG came out with something called Yugioh, which was basically a Yu-Gi-Oh ban list for us by the players. So basically, it's going from GOAT format and constantly changing stuff out to keep interest. I think it's actually really good because when you want something that's a little bit different, you have something completely different from the actual freaking game that Konami gives you. So if Konami was to say, okay, you can't play the game no more, you can just go ARG and just be like, I'm fucking playing Yu-Gi-Oh, so fuck you. Excuse me. So it's actually, in my eyes, ARG is that company that is basically pushing the way we look at competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! In the future. And I will say it, right now, anyone can go out there and make something of yourself in Yu-Gi-Oh! And actually do it as a professional career. I'm not even going to bullshit you on that. Some of you will care or disagree, that's absolutely fine. But between being a Yu-Gi-Tuber, writing articles online, getting paid for it, working for ARG, stuff like that, you could probably make it into this world and even eBay. Now, I in no way, shape, or form have ever worked haven't worked for ARG. I probably would in the future if they, if they wanted me to. I'd be okay with it. But I have not worked for ARG. I do not work for ARG. I am not promoting ARG. I'm just saying I like what they do from a standpoint because of what they were doing is right. Now, there are some things I will disagree in. The terminology is where I switch the table in professional Yu-Gi-Oh. 1. Konami doesn't want us in professional Yu-Gi-Oh! For God knows whatever reason. Who the fuck knows? That's Konami. They don't want to push players like, Magic the Gathering or hell, even Pokemon want to in the VGCs or the TCG of Pokemon. They don't want to, Konami doesn't want it. I don't know why. They just don't want it. I think it's good for business. They, for whatever reason, don't. It's stupid. So that's why when ARG comes up, I'm like, okay, really good company here that's trying to push, the way we look at Yu-Gi-Oh! And actually make it into something a lot bigger. And I thank them for that because, in all honesty, if we didn't have something like this, the game would probably die a lot quicker than it ever will, without ARG or something to back it. And that's true, with anything. When you look at something like MLG, it started from a bunch of dudes who just wanted to fucking play games. I mean, we had shit prior called Arena on G4 TV. For those of you who are old enough to remember G4 TV, I missed that fucking shit. That was when we had the cool MTV. Had to get that in there. But the point still stands. It just takes one visionary, one dream, and one stupid son of a bitch to go and do it, and it becomes a reality. Now, me personally, do I want to do professional Yu-Gi-Oh? I want to do professional Yu-Gi tubing, but obviously I'm not doing my job because my voice sounds like ass. But that's kind of because of laryngitis. But I don't want to take 2 weeks off while my voice heals, and then have you guys with no content. So I'm going to do the best I can, drink tons of tea, and try to just get out one video a day that basically I don't sound like shit completely. So what I want to say real quick before my voice goes completely out here. The bad side of ARG is the fact that you'll get a lot of more net deckers than you would, and you got to deal with it online, and a lot of people will disagree with what they say about ban lists. Look, these guys just want to shape the ban list in the way they want to shape the ban list. Konami's the same way. End of the day, everyone has their own, visionary for ban lists. Even I do. Me personally, I probably just take down meta decks and give support to decks that need it. Stuff that is tier 4, tier 5. Go from there, build them up, rinse, repeat kind of thing, keep interest going in the game. But again, that's me being me. ARG, though, I do have to give credit to, and I know I've been giving a lot of credit to with this. Excuse me. It's basically, if they didn't do metagame coverage, Konami's half-ass metagame coverage would be hardly seen outside of Worlds. Let's be honest. Let's not kid each other. Now, one thing I would hope for the future is that ARG, if they're going to go to that level of MLG, maybe not as big, but you understand what I'm saying here, is basically bring all the card games under one roof, hold the tournaments, and then do it like MLG. But that's a lot of freaking, getting this and that going underway. MLG was successful enough to do it. Do I think ARG could? Yeah. Back to the point. Professional players. Can you make a living off this game? Absolutely. Is it a shit ton of work? Absolutely. Would you have to combine, doing YouTube, eBay, ARG? Most likely, yeah, probably. Maybe you get a job at Taco Bell, kick off your career because it starts off really slow. And that's me being fucking honest. And that goes for pretty much anywhere that you try doing anything entertainment-wise or sports-wise. Excuse me. It is one hell of a thing. But you know what? It's worth it at the end of the day. When you come down to it, because some of you will disagree about all the time about fucking, should you be able to professionally live on Yu-Gi-Oh? Some of you will go, it's just a hobby. It's an expensive hobby. Really expensive hobby. But then again, nowadays, what isn't expensive? But for me personally, I'm fine with it. And I actually think it's pretty cool because then it just gives people more job opportunities. I know some people will disagree with that. No, you gotta work the real jobs. You know what? Entertainment is a real job in itself. And professional Yu-Gi-Oh, professional gaming, that's how I look at it. It's just a form of entertainment. It's like movies. Except that you don't fully have to completely pay for it. And it's sponsored by giant freaking candy companies. MLG I'm referring to, It's ridiculous. Do I think one day that we'll be all sponsored by fucking Snickers and Butterfingers and shit? Yeah, I think it'll happen. MLG 10 years ago wasn't sponsored by these companies. And then 10 years ago, 10 years later, they got Mountain Dew. They got all the fucking video game companies. They got fucking everything out of the ass. Snickers and Doritos, like anything you would eat when you're playing games. So think about what you eat when you play Yu-Gi-Oh! You could pretty much do the same thing. You just don't want to get all greasy. And then basically, hey, buy it. We're going to sponsor you. In my eyes, the negative part of having professional players, and it's not really a big negative to everyone, is, just the hours that go into it, the dedication you have to give up to it. And you can't do that and, be considered a pro player when you're, putting in like 48 hours a week playing this game just to, understand it for a tournament. That's nuts. I give credit to those guys who do it. And it's easy to write it off and say, no, they don't deserve to be called pro players. They don't deserve to make money off this game. When you think about all the time and effort YouTubers or pro players or just whatever go into to create content for you or write an article for you, the thought process, the research, it's a lot of shit. And honestly, it basically is a much, much lower paying job than working at McDonald's. But it's a lot of passion behind it. So even if you don't like people, still, you gotta respect it to a point. I mean, just look at ARG's site. They're promoting Twitch. They're promoting their circuit series. They're promoting their YouTube channel. They're doing the hustle. Fraser Smith, that's the guy. Sorry, I forgot your name. There's also Jeff Jones too. Lots of great players in this freaking game, in all honesty. But honestly, to be called a pro player, we're going to have to go through ARG, not Konami, because Konami does not want that whole status, queue going off. They don't want people being known as professional level Yu-Gi-Oh players, just well-known, really good players that basically push the game for them in a new state. Konami's got to wise up, though, when it comes down to it. They don't give out cash prizes. Okay, that's fine. They give out booster packs and iMacs and Xboxes. So you're looking at like 400 or 500 max. So you're probably sitting there going, okay, you really can't make ends meet when you're paying more to get to the fucking venue anyway. And Konami will sit here and bullshit you and say, but hey, Konami, don't you have vendors that go there and have to pay you to sell cards? Don't you have the knowledge to, actually promote shit at the venue? There's a lot Konami could do as a company to actually make the money happen. I mean, let's be honest here. I know many of you do not play Halo. That's fine. But the company 343 is under Microsoft, and Microsoft's got deep-ass pockets, so they can hold whatever tournament they want. So it's something that pretty much doesn't in that aspect. You need a lot of money with a lot of venues, hence we don't have it on the East Coast often enough through ICSs. Okay, fine. Hey, Konami, start a fucking Kickstarter. See how many people want fucking professional Yu-Gi-Oh to be a thing, and just to get a money pool. And I swear to God, there will be enough people to have a good enough pool, close enough to almost a year's worth in rent. And I'm not shitting. I know that's actually a thing. I know a lot of, higher tier players would play that for it. And yeah, you could bitch about the meta sucks. It does. End of the day, that's the meta. It's always going to be like that. Regardless if it's Cleaforts, Shadows, whatever, something new will come and take that spot, and then you'll have to deal with it again, and it'll be an issue. It's a meta. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! But for professional Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, should they have the right to be called professional players? I think so. Should they have the right to make enough money to support themselves, to be considered living off it? I think so. Can they do it now? Yes. Is it extremely hard compared to doing like Magic the Gathering? Yeah, it is. Magic the Gathering is a slower investment, but you can still make tons of money off it. Be smart, be wise, be safe, guys. Love you. See you tomorrow. Rate, comment, subscribe. I'm ready for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council. Let me know what you think about pro players. Should we call them pro players? Should we respect them? Should we just look at it as a hobby and only a hobby? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I'm going to go rest this laryngitis. Peace!